So, hey, Will,
Hey,
you know what we get to do this week, man?
trick or treat?
That's a couple weeks, but I am very excited for that.
That'll be good.
More importantly, though, Everblades hockey's back, man.
Oh!
Feels
we're
good.
So back,
We
Jake.
are so back.
We're so back.
On Swamp Talk 2, Episode 2. Welcome back, and welcome into another season of Everblades hockey. I mean, I don't know about you, but watching those two preseason games last week, both Everblades wins, by the way, over the Everblades, over the Solar Bears. They didn't beat themselves.
They did not.
They did not. They beat Orlando, and they're going to play Orlando again to open the season.
Seen a lot of Orlando.
Yeah, we see a lot of Orlando. We play them 5 times in the first 7 games. In a way, though, that kind of works out. You play arguably your most hated rival, a very improved team they're going to be this year.
It's true.
Tough test for your first 7 games, or at least 5 of them. It's going to be a lot of fun, but most importantly, Thursday night we get going again for real. Another Kelly Cup title defense. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a ton of fun. And might I say, Jake, I'm loving your shirt.
I'm loving your shirt.
And if you like the 2 shirts that we're wearing, you can find this Everblades merch and much, much more at the pro shops right between the recreation rinks and the main arena here at Hertz Arena. We've got all your Everblades gear that you need to look very, very sharp
come by
for the back-to-back title defense.
Any day during the week. Lots of championship gear from last
Yes,
season
sir.
as well. Any time during the week, or when you come by for an Everblades game this year, starting with our home opener October 28th, 7 o'clock puck drop versus the Jacksonville Icemen, not the Orlando Solar Bears.
Hey, speaking of, I'm glad I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt because it's been pretty chilly here in Florida.
Yeah, well, that's how you know it's hockey season, right? The air is just getting that little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Fans are getting excited. We had a great time yesterday at the season ticket event. Season ticket holders come by to grab their tickets, all the players in attendance. Looks like a really good squad this year again.
Yep.
I mean, that's what we expect from the Everblades, right? It's always a team that's thinking Kelly Cups, not playoffs, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, there are some teams where they're more so that they're thinking this year. A team like Orlando is thinking, they just want to get into the playoffs right now. They haven't made it since 2019. The Everblades, they've won 2 Kelly Cups over the past 2 years. They're thinking a little bit higher than just getting into the playoffs.
The norm right now for the Everblades is the championship, so they're gunning for that again.
And a big part of that is the goaltender Cam Johnson, who will be joining us later on in the episode as our special guest. First player we've ever had on the podcast. I don't think there could be anyone better than the back-to-back playoff MVP Cam Johnson, who has a lot of personality as well.
I know we had Brad Ralph, who was a great opener to the podcast series last week, and now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the team. We got Cam Johnson. He's got a lot of great stories to tell.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear from him.
Can't wait to hear from him. And by the time this episode goes out, we'll be into the regular season, because it'll definitely be at earliest Thursday night. Possibly we're a game in, so we'll have a little bit more to talk about, especially next week once the podcast gets going. We'll get to talk about actual regular season hockey. It's going to feel great.
That is going to feel good.
The short off seasons are always nice, but they're still too long.
I know.
They're still too long, So it's great to be back doing this for real. Cam Johnson coming up very soon, but going into the opening week, well, it's just the 2 of us talking a little bit more of the X's and O styles. We know what Cam Johnson is going to say, win, right? And that's what they'll want. What do you want to see from the Everblades on more of a macro scale to kind of set themselves up for success this season?
Yeah, and I think we kind of saw this against the Solar Bears in the 2 preseason games. They were both wins. They were both hard-fought wins. But I think the second of those 2 games was really about pace. It was a high-scoring affair. There was plenty of chippiness. There were a lot of penalties, a lot of opportunities on the PK and the power play. I think it's going to come down this season to, who's getting to the puck first. How hard are you forechecking? How hard are you keeping that puck inside the blue line and just attacking the goal? It's not a style of game that is very much transitionary, although the Everblades did get a lot of goals when the Everblades, or I should say when the Solar Bears kind of had we're back on their heels. I mean, if you look at Oliver Chow's goal to open up the second period, 9 seconds into the second period, he just takes the puck right off the faceoff and scores that way. So
it's gonna be a fast team this year.
Yeah,
a team, and even going back to last year in the playoffs, even going back to the regular season, the Everblades are certainly an opportunistic group. When they get their chances, they're very good at burying them. And there's some teams that aren't. They get 10 chances a game and they can't put any of them away. The Blades, they're not that team. And that makes, what that makes for more so than anything, though? Fast, physical, chippy, always in the fight. That makes for fun hockey.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we can absolutely guarantee this year is another fun season of Florida Everblades hockey.
It's going to be fast-paced, it's going to be physical, and there's going to be, I think, plenty of goals and a lot of good moments. So
yeah, and
what more could you ask for?
And, well, one thing you could ask for, plenty of big saves, and that's what we got coming up with our next guest, Cam Johnson, first player to ever join us on the podcast. We'll see him and talk with him in just mere moments.
Let's go. All right, everybody, joining us on the show, none other than Everblades netminder Cam Johnson. Cam, hey, pleasure to have you on the show. Episode 2, you're the second official guest of Swamp Talk. So, hey, how does it feel? I mean, you couldn't possibly get more famous in Southwest Florida than you already are, but here you are.
Yeah, this is quite the honor. I appreciate it, boys. Second ever episode, so I think we're going to have a good one for sure.
I think it's going to be
first player on.
Yeah, exactly.
Picked a good one.
And right before a new season of Everblades hockey, defending the Kelly Cup title again for now a third straight year. Got to be exciting, getting ready to go to Orlando. As we're recording this, tomorrow you're going to be playing some hockey.
Yep, yeah, it's exciting. It's I've told everybody we've kind of had short summers the past couple summers, but that's a good thing. It means you're going deep in the playoffs. So short summer, boys are all back in town. We're all excited, and yeah, the journey for 3 starts tomorrow.
How's the training camp period been for you? It was kind of a jam-packed 3 days, 2 preseason games. You played in the second one against Orlando, and then right back to 3 straight days of practices, and then regular season. I mean, starting tomorrow, so it's been dense.
Yeah, right into it, and for a few guys myself, I'm signed with the Charlotte Checkers, our affiliate. So I know there was a group of like 10, maybe 12 of us that went down to Charlotte for a week. We had a week of training camp there, and then there's even a couple guys, younger guys, who had to do like the rookie tournament for the Florida Panthers. So it's a long preseason. It's when you get down here, it's kind of like the end of it. You're getting closer to the season. So all the boys are itching. We're all excited and ready to go. It's a lot of work when you first get back here, and you got to shake the rust off of the summer rust, whatever it is. But no, we're all excited. We're ready to go.
Well, y'all also look really good, especially you in your preseason win over Orlando. Already in the win column, we haven't even gotten going yet. Yeah. Imagine that's got to feel good, and it's got to be exciting watching the guys out front play 2 really good games in front of you and Evan.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Was we have so many new faces this year, and there's only a few little group of us from last year's team, and then I think it's only me and Pendy from the original Kelly Cup team. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I think it's just me and Pendy. So a lot of new faces out there. Guys obviously got to figure each other out and kind of learn how everybody plays. We've been blessed the past few years here. We've kind of had the same older group of whatever core guys to kind of direct the ship in the way that it has to go. But no, we got a bunch of new faces, a lot of guys that are hungry to come in here and see all the success that we've had the past few years. So everybody's excited. It's going to be a great year again for sure.
And outside of hockey, what were you doing over the summer to kind of decompress, relax a little bit, get loose again? What were you up to?
Yeah, I needed, it was a long couple seasons. So last year I just kind of relaxed right after the year. I stayed out here for a good amount of it. I actually was doing real estate school this summer, so I got that done with. I just have to pass the exam now, the state exam. It's a little bit tougher, so I've just been studying for that. But no, this summer I just kind of relaxed for probably a month or 2 after the season. I did a little bit of traveling, golfed a little bit, and you blink your eyes and it's already October again. So it goes fast.
How's the golf game looking?
Good. I started keeping my handicap this summer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm at an 11 right now, I believe.
Oh my God.
Which it's all right. I need to work on it a little bit, but no, it's just kind of gives you a good idea of where you're at.
So when can we expect you to see in the U.S. Open?
Once I'm done with the Blades. Once I'm done winning Kellys with the Blades.
That's the post-hocky career.
Oh,
that might be a while. That could be a while, though.
Yeah, a few more years. I tell everybody down here I'm a forever Blade, so I love
awesome.
it. Yeah, I love it down here. I don't have any plans of leaving anytime soon.
Well, that's great. And I know you got the loudest cheer yesterday at the season ticket event by quite a bit. The fans are certainly glad you're back.
Yeah.
One thing you didn't mention that you did, I'm certain you did in your summer, spending a lot of time with the Blades' unofficial mascot, Junior.
Yeah.
Your pet cat, beautiful cat. How often can we expect to see him around the rink this year?
Yeah, Junior, I try and bring him as much as I can. Sometimes we'll have days where we'll just go over meetings or whatever. If we have a couple games, we'll just have, video meetings or whatever in the locker room. I'll bring him for those optional days. And it's funny, I brought him a couple times last year, and the first time I brought him, Ralphie calls me in the office. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Ralphie, all the boys know Junior. Everybody loves Junior. So I'm like, he's just hanging out for the meetings this morning. But yeah, I'm going to try and bring him a couple times for sure again.
Do we have a cat Everblades size jersey in the pro shop
we can
somewhere?
Make it work. That'd be Isaac Berg. We'll get on Isaac to get one of those kind of jerseys.
We've got talented people on the case. Let's just say that.
We do. That's the thing.
That'd be
here.
a top seller.
Yeah, that's the thing here is like, even, you go behind the scenes, the staff we got behind the scenes, everybody's, it's the best in the league. It's a high class organization for sure.
What line would you put Junior? I mean, what position is Junior first off, and where is he skating?
Like Cat, everybody says like goalies are like cats, the same reaction. So I think if Junior was to suit up, I'd put him in net right beside me, and
all right.
Him and I could kind of kick as a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, your former teammate Evan Cormier might not like that too much, but
yeah, I don't know if he'd be a fan of that, but Junior's cute, so he might let it slide.
Yeah.
He'd look better in the crease than Evan, right?
Right. Put some gear on Junior. I'm sure he'd take up a lot of net.
Yeah. I think some high school team tried doing that. I don't even know where it was, but they tried playing with 2 goalies and 4 skaters because there's like no rule against it or something.
Yeah.
Might have to experiment with that. Talk to head coach Brad Ralph about that.
See if there's any leagues or any rules in the ECHL. Get the cat skating out there.
Exactly.
I know a couple years ago this team was responsible for a couple of rules thanks to some big battles you guys had with Greenville, right?
Yeah.
And we could see it in those preseason games too.
Yep.
When you're back-to-back champions, everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants to measure themselves, make a statement against you guys.
Yep.
How exciting is it to have that challenge again, to be known as the best and know everyone's coming for you?
Yeah, it's huge, and what an honor that is too. Like, we tell everybody, all the new guys here, like, people don't understand when the Everblades come to town or when people come here, like, they want to beat us. And it's not like, the season's long and maybe sometimes you'll go through the motions or whatever, but like teams come in here, everybody wants to beat us. Wherever we go, everybody wants to beat us. So it's good for us because it makes you, raise your level, and you got to be ready every night. It doesn't matter, if it's a regular season game in the middle of February or the home opener or whatever, everybody's going to be coming for us. So being the back-to-back champs, the target's only got bigger on our back, and we're ready for that. We expect that, and I think that'll help us in the long run. Anyways, we'll be playing playoff hockey for most of the year.
And as a goalie, I mean, you're the only guy that's out there all 60 minutes, and you were saying you're one of 2 guys on this team right now that have been part of the 2 Kelly Cup teams, and now you're the one guy that's out there the entire time. Everybody's got a target on this team. So what kind of added pressure is that on you?
Yeah, everybody's gunning for me, but
back-to-back playoff MVP too, right?
Yeah, back-to-back MVP. We got to do it again, right? That's never been done. So no, it's good. I honestly love the pressure. My little thing I tell everybody too: pressure makes diamonds. The most beautiful stone on earth is created by the most pressure on earth. So. Pressure makes diamonds, and I'm excited. I'm ready for the challenge.
One thing that everyone loves when you're in the building playing here is the wink you throw to the cameras. There's a good story behind that. Do you mind telling that story here on the podcast?
Yeah, 100%. So I've been winking at the camera actually for, I couldn't even tell you when it started. I did it in college. I did it in juniors a little bit, but it's for my grandma originally. That's how it started was, my grandparents, they watch every game, and my grandma, she's like basically blind. I don't know what she's got going on, cataracts or whatever. She sits like 3 inches from the computer screen and watches every game to a T. And it's funny, like, she knows hockey. She knows, like, after games, she knows, hey, your D-man messed up, whatever you got scored on, because, like, she knows what's going on. So it's funny. I started winking at the camera to say hi to her, and it's nice here. Like, now they do it in the second period. At the start of every second period, I know it's coming. So I know, I'm ready for it. But no, I originally started winking to say hello to her. So she sees it every game too. And it's funny, like, if there were games where I didn't wink at the camera, say I was a little, pissed off or something, game's not going my way, and I talked to her, she's like, where was my wink? I didn't see my wink tonight. So I'm just like, all right, you know, regardless.
Gotta get it in for
gotta
grandma.
I got to get the wink in. So that's originally how it started. I was saying hi to my grandma, and then, you know, everybody just kind of jumped on board with it here. So I take pictures all the time with fans. They're like, can you wink at the camera? And I'm like sitting there, you know, winking. But it's good. Everybody loves it. So.
I starts getting a little sore. It's like,
Yeah, right. Trying to wink at a photo, like holding the wink, it's tough.
got to get you in like an eye patch or something,
Yeah,
like, just to rest up.
Sorry, no winking today.
I don't think we don't have a pirate night this year. Not even when Savannah's coming to town.
I know, yeah. I figured
good.
that would be automatic.
The Ghost Pirates.
You kind of mentioned your college playing days and how you did the wink all through that, but just kind of walk us through what those years in North Dakota were like. You won a national championship with the former Fightin' Sioux, now the Fightin' Hawks,
yeah.
but just, I mean, talk us through that, because UND, I mean, famous, a ton of great players coming through there. One of the best atmospheres in college
Great
hockey.
building, great venue.
Unbelievable building.
Yeah.
I think Wayne Gretzky just called it the Taj Mahal of hockey a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, just take us through that time.
Yeah, literally to a T. The Taj Mahal, like I tell everybody the best 4 years of my life. I'd say this place rivals North Dakota though. Like the time that I've had here compared to the time I've had in North Dakota, like very similar. I've had success in both places, and that all comes down to like the you know, the group of guys we have in the locker room, the staff, everything. Like that place, it's hockey or bust there. Like you go there, we'd literally stay at the rink like all day. They have everything at the rink. We had a chef there who would make all our meals, so we were very fortunate. We were very spoiled, and yeah, the fans there, they're unbelievable. Very similar to the fans here. Like every game they show up to, like on our road games there in North Dakota, like we'd go to Denver, for example, it would be like half UND fans in a road building. So it was a really cool experience. Like we were rock stars on campus. Like everybody knew who we were, and you know, we were fortunate enough to win a national championship there too. So that kind of even catapulted us up a little bit, a couple more notches. But no, it was unbelievable there. The fans, the coaches, the staff, like very similar to what we have going on here, which I think is, you know, credit to the success. Why you have success, you have good people, you surround yourself with good people, and you build good teams.
Absolutely.
And then you've played in some other professional organizations as well. We mentioned that you played with Evan Cormier in Binghamton. You played in Charlotte a game last year. You've played with Cleveland in the past. Mm-hmm. How does Florida, the experience outside of just strictly playing hockey, because we know back-to-back Kelly Cup champions is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But outside, the way the organization treats the players, all that kind of stuff, how does that compare to those other places around the league and other leagues?
Yep. Yeah, it's the best here, honestly. You know, you got to be good. Like they want to win here, so in order to do that, you know, you got to take care of your players. You got to, you know, do things the right way, day in and day out. And you know, grant it to Craig Brush and Dave Hoffman and his, you know, family of Hoffman, whatever family of Hoffman, their company. They do a lot for us, and you know, they make sure that we're fed. They make sure that our travel's not too bad. So it all goes into it. It's stuff that you don't think about. And you know, honestly, how we get treated here, I'd say treated better than anywhere I've played in the AHL, which is like, you know, it's considered the higher league, whatever, but we get treated the same, if not better, down here. And it's not like this in a lot of places in the ECHL either. Like, you don't get, you know, special treatment like we get here. And you know, we're very lucky, very fortunate to be here. We live in Florida too, which you can't be.
It's kind of nice. It's
you know,
shining pretty nicely right now. You can walk outside, go for a walk,
right?
Hit the course.
Yep, you have
You're not doing that in Newfoundland.
Yeah, you have a bad day at the rink. It's 80 and sunny outside
Yeah.
with no clouds in the sky. So you can't beat this place. Everything that we have here, and you know, everything that we've built here, it's unbelievable. And it definitely rivals North Dakota or anywhere that I've been. This is definitely on the top of my list for sure.
Just kind of want to go on the personal side of being a goalie. Was there a moment or a goalie that you watched growing up that, you know, made you decide, you know, I want to be the guy between the pipes and the crease? Yeah,
I used to love watching. I'm a Detroit guy, so very, very blessed with those Detroit teams in like the late 90s, early 2000s. I think they made the playoffs like 26 straight years or something.
Three Stanley Cups, right?
Yeah.
Something,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So I was very fortunate growing up. We had some some really good teams there. And, you know, I used to love watching Chris Osgood. He was like, you know, my first guy I loved watching. And then Dominic Hasek was another guy the Wings had for a couple of years. So, you know, watching those guys, they were kind of my two guys when I first started playing that I kind of honed in on and really enjoyed watching. But, you know, outside of that, honestly, I think why I became a goalie was I have an older brother, and I used to always want to hang out with him and all his buddies. And
I know where this is going.
I look back at it now. I know. I start laughing. I look back at it now, but he's always used to stick me in goal. You know, whether it be mini sticks or street hockey, whatever, I'd have to be the goalie. So I think maybe, you know, that might go hand in hand with it too, why I became a goalie. But no, it's a tough position, and you know, I always look back at it now. I'm like, shit, if I were to do this all over, I don't think I'd be a goalie again.
Well, I know last year you started more games than any other Everblades goaltender has in history in the season, 55.
Yep.
And I know a guy like you would have loved to add the extra 17 and done the whole 72, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%. And you know, that was me and Ralphie kind of had a couple battles last year about that, because he would tell me, he's like, I need to rest you, and I'd go in there all, you know,
you
angry,
don't.
like, no, you know, no, I won all these games. So yeah, I was fortunate enough. I got to play a bunch of games last year, which was huge. But you know, we'll see this year if he wants to play.
And then every game in the playoffs too, right?
Yeah, all the play. I've played all the playoff games that I've been here for the past 2 years. The first Kelly Cup we won, I was up in Cleveland for the start of playoffs, and I was actually up there like every day telling them, like, please, can you guys send me down? Like, please, I just want to go down to Florida. Because we were in like last place there, so we were just going through the motions. I think we had like 5 or 6 games remaining. So originally, if I would have like played the season out there, I would have been back like game 6, I think, in the
and who knows what
in the
happens
first
then,
series.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And we won game 1. We lost game 2. So I remember I was like, all right, you guys like have to send me down. Please send me down. And they finally signed like an E-Bug goalie, whatever, a guy out of college for the last like week and a half, 2 weeks of the season. So I was able to come down here and yeah, started rolling. We ended up winning the first one. And then last year I played all the games too. So it's been good couple playoffs for the boys.
Oh yeah, I remember going into last season's playoffs. I mean, we weren't on a hot streak.
No,
we were. I think
just
we won that fan appreciation game, which was great. But before that, we were like, oh boy, wow, this isn't great. But then
grinding into playoffs.
you pull off the shutout in game 1. You got a lot of help in that 5-0 win. But
Yep.
what was it like in the dressing room comparing that game 1 to everything else that had come before it, and realizing that we're still the team that has that championship DNA?
Yeah. Yep. That was the thing. And like looking back at it, that game was so huge for our team. Like that was, I think, literally the first time in the locker room where everybody had the belief like, all right, we can do this thing again. Because like you said, like the end of our season was a roller coaster. We had like, all we had to do was beat Atlanta once. We played them like 5 times at the end. We kept losing them to them. And then we tied them, thankfully. We tied them. And I think they might have beat us in OT, or we beat them in OT, whatever. Then we only needed 1 point, and they ended up like losing. We ended up winning, so we got in, I think, with like 2 games or whatever remaining in the season.
Yeah, I think it was final week of the season.
Yeah, but literally, no, that game 1, we came out gunning, and the locker room after was like, everybody was fired up, like just kind of looking around like, all right, like here we go again, you know.
Yeah.
And then they came back too, and they whacked us the next night. I think 4-0 was the next game, and that kind of humbled us a little bit. We're like, all right, we're not just going to cruise through playoffs. But no, we got through that first series, and that was huge for our group. But literally that first game was like the first time too we had like our whole team together. Before that, we got a couple guys traded, you know, a couple guys were out of the lineup. So that was like the first time we had our full team going, and for sure like a big turning point for us, where it's like, all right, you know, it's playoff hockey, let's go. You know, forget the regular season, we got in, and new season now. So
And is that kind of a testament to the mentality? I mean, getting in as the 4 seed in the division, and then, I mean, just exploding to a championship season again.
Yep.
Is the goal to make the playoffs again and kind of show out in the South Division this year?
Yeah. The goal is the Kelly Cup. It's always, you know, it's always the Kelly Cup. But the South Division, in my opinion, I may be a little biased, but I think the South is the best division. Everybody wants.
I don't think you're biased. I think it is the best.
Everybody wants to come down here, so I mean, anytime you make it out of the South, you know, you got a pretty good chance at it. And, you know, that's the thing is, like, we play all these teams 6, 7, 8 times a year. So it's like, you know really how you match up with them because you've played them so many times throughout the year. So, honestly, playoffs just comes down to, like, who wants it more. You know, like, what team is willing to buy in and do all those little details that, you know, sometimes are hard to do or whatever. Maybe might be a little bit tired or want to make excuses, whatever. But no, you just gotta, like, winning's a decision. And you know, we've had a good group of guys here who have kind of, you know, set the ground or the way of the land of how we operate here. And you know, we've gone out and done it the past couple of years. So we got the recipe. It's just, you know, about putting it in place and executing.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Cam. This is awesome. Perfect for the first player, right, Will?
Yeah,
To have on the
absolutely.
podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, boys.
And now, by the time this episode goes live, we're actually going to be playing hockey for real. Feels great.
Yep,
Right.
feels
Thank
good.
you very much,
right?
Cam.
Yeah,
Great
no,
to have you
thank you
on.
guys. I appreciate it. Yep.
Thanks so much for
Thank you
joining
guys.
us.
Yep. See you, fans. Enjoy the season.
Don't think we could have picked a more perfect guest, Will.
Except for Junior.
Except for Junior, yeah.
When's he coming on
in
the show?
future? I'd imagine he'd have a lot to say. We could get him a little microphone too to go with the jersey. We'll get him in maybe more later on in the season. He'll want to be able to talk about some hockey.
This
I
is
think.
true, yeah.
You heard him. You heard Cam say he's often in the video meetings.
Yeah.
Analytical mind.
He's a big stats guy.
big stats
He's not
guy.
going to sit around here and talk about, you know, intangibles. He wants spreadsheets.
Hard
he wants
data.
numbers.
Yeah,
He's like, if you've seen
He wants
Moneyball,
spreadsheets so that he can lie on them.
if you've seen Moneyball, it's basically that's Junior but hockey.
Favorite
So,
movie for
great
sure.
movie. Great movie.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost there, man. It feels surreal that we're actually getting ready to play
I
some
know.
hockey games that matter.
I mean, by nighttime, we're recording this on Wednesday afternoon. By nighttime tomorrow, Everblades regular season hockey will be going on, which is crazy to think about because it seems like just yesterday was June 9th, and we were getting that second consecutive Kelly Cup. I mean, just the turnaround is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, off-season very quiet, just the nature of off-seasons in the ECHL. But you heard Cam talk about it too. There's not a lot of guys left from the back-to-back squads, just Cam and Joe, which certainly makes things interesting because it's not just that you're going for a third Kelly Cup. It's also that you kind of need to pass the torch a little bit to the next group. And there certainly are exciting players on this team that weren't on the Kelly Cup squad last year. And you've got a number of returners who they weren't there in 2022, but they were there in 2023. Big parts of the team like Chow, Moberg, Lambden, Jostling, who, may I remind everyone, tied for the ECHL lead in playoff points last year.
Yep.
Basically a free goal if he gets speed down the right wing. So exciting to have all those guys back. And we're expecting a few other guys to come down from the Charlotte Checkers, which always fun to get guys from our AHL affiliate for sure.
Absolutely. And I think this is, when you look at a team like the Everblades, experience is worth a lot.
Yeah.
And when you've got Cam Johnson and net, who has experience of winning 2 consecutive Kelly Cups, I mean, that says a lot. But even just for the guys that were on that team last year, like you said, I mean, we're talking about guys like Oliver Chow and Cole Moberg. I mean, those guys brought a ton to the table. So just to have experience from last season is going to help the Blades a lot.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about the keys to the season, you know, obviously you want to have strong special teams. You need to be good goaltending. You need to be good on your breakouts and your forecheck, all that stuff. But one of the biggest keys is going to be similar to what it was last year, though. It'll be harder to execute just because of the number of guys like John McCarron and Ben Masella who aren't here anymore. It's how fast, how efficiently can you bring the new guys into that winning culture and really drive it into their core. That this is not a team that's goal is playoffs. This is a team that's goal is to be the best squad, Kelly Cup, year after year. I mean, the Everblades have missed the playoffs once in their now 26-year history.
Yeah.
They've won 3 Kelly Cups, tied for the most all-time in the league's history. Trying to be the first team to get 4, trying to be the first team to go and successfully complete the three-peat. 4 other teams have tried in the past. None of them have succeeded. Florida has a chance to be the first, and a lot of it is going to come down to how quickly those new guys can really have that become who they are as players.
100%. And it sounds like a lot of pressure, but we know from talking to Cam, he's up for that pressure.
You've got a guy like Cam Johnson, Joe Pendenza, who are going to help with that.
Yeah.
They know what it's like, and they want to do it again, right? They had a lot of fun with the Kelly Cup this past summer, and it's going to be a lot of fun, too, opening night.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got all the stops being pulled out. Banner raising, of course, is the main event. Right before the game, the third Kelly Cup banner and the second straight going up to the rafters at Hertz Arena. Tickets are going fast for that game, by the way. If you're listening to this,
October
as you're listening
28th.
to this, October 28th, 7 o'clock, puck drop, Saturday night. No reason for you not to be there.
Suites in the suites.
Yes, if you got the kids, bring them out during the first period intermission. You can bring them up, and a little bit of a spoiler, Will. It's full-size bars.
I've heard full-size candy bars.
Full-size candy bars.
That's a gold mine for Halloween, by the way.
You don't even need to bring your kids trick-or-treating if you bring them there. They'll still be eating that chocolate into March.
You know who's the real winners on Halloween? Parents.
Parents, indeed.
Because you just get a free supply of candy. So,
Yeah.
parents, full-size candy bars. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, come on. You got to get out there, but tickets are going fast.
Absolutely.
Because people know it's a great deal to get full-size candy bars and watch the Kelly Cup be raised to the banner against the Jacksonville Icemen, who the Blades beat in the second round last year to get to the Kelly Cup. South Division is going to be stronger this year.
Stacked.
I mean, you heard Cam. It is the strongest division. It was the strongest division last year. It's probably going to be the strongest this year. You look at what a team like Orlando's done, where they've got an entire boatload of guys being shipped down from the
Throwing the
AHL into
kitchen
Orlando.
sink at this season.
Pretty much. They're throwing everything at it. Teams like Jacksonville, they're in a sort of similar situation as the Everblades were maybe about a few years ago, where they've made their first real, actually, when I say a few years ago, I mean like the 1990s, early 2000s. They've made their first steps. They've won their first playoff series. They've competed well with the Everblades last year, bowing out in 6. They want to take that next step. A team like South Carolina, who's the team that the Everblades are tied with for the most Kelly Cups in league history, but they haven't won since 2009, and you know they're unhappy. They were the only division winner last year that didn't make it out of the first round.
They want to be back. They want to be.
And they were one of only 2 division winners that did make it to the conference finals.
Wow.
So they're not happy.
Yeah.
Very unhappy with how their season ended up. And then you've got, of course, Savannah. They host the All-Star game this year. They're going to
That'll
want to be
great.
better. You've got Atlanta. They're an interesting one. They're in a little bit of a transition phase. They're sort of like the Everblades, and then a number of their veterans have gone off elsewhere or into retirement, although they don't have the shiny rings to go with it. But still, they're going to be an interesting team because you never know what you're going to get when you're bringing in a lot of young blood. And then Greenville, always scrappy, always strong defensively. They're going to be a factor just like they have been each of the past few years. And you heard it from Cam. There are no off nights for the Everblades this season. Every team is going to give Florida their best.
If you look at the schedule on this South Division, and there's a couple of curveballs thrown in there, a couple of games against Adirondack, a couple of games against Worcester. If you just look at the baseline,
but even those teams are going to want to measure up to the champ too.
Oh, absolutely. But if you just look at the baseline South Division schedule, there's no off night. There's no game where you can be for sure, yeah, that's going to go down as a W, or that's going to be an L.
There will be
every
none.
single
There's nothing
night.
you can just. There are no easy marks in the South Division. Hey, right now, yes, the Everblades are the defending back-to-back Kelly Cup champions, but as we get ready to start the new season, everybody has the same record.
Yep.
And only the top 4 teams are going to make the playoffs in this division. So that's the first step. Just like last year, when the Everblades were the 4th team of 4 to make it into the South Division postseason. You get in, and then you get to work. And that's what we're getting ready to do. The work starts, as we're recording this, the work starts tomorrow, Will, and I can't wait.
Cannot wait, Jake. Cannot wait for another Everblades season.
And I can't wait to hear from all of you alongside Will Henschel. I'm Jake Maurice. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Swamp Talk next week. We'll have some real hockey to talk about, Will, and I can't wait.
Regular season puck coming up.
We'll see you then. We'll have another special guest on another episode of Swamp Talk. Thank you for joining us today, and have a lovely, lovely day from Hertz Arena.